Y ahora, como ya les había indicado al principio de la sesión, pueden formular los delegados sus preguntas a los ponentes. Tienen en sus respectivas carpetas los formularios para hacer las preguntas y nuestros voluntarios las irán recogiendo y las traerán a la mesa. Mientras nos llegan preguntas o comentarios a la mesa, me gustaría ya ir haciendo alguna pregunta para iniciar el debate. En primer lugar, querría decir a Fran Ribot que qué razón tenía tu padre. Es efectivamente imposible obtener beneficios económicos si no obtenemos progresos sociales. Qué pena que, indudablemente, a la vista de los acontecimientos que están sucediendo en Europa, no hubiéramos tenido muchos más responsables de grandes empresas y grupos económicos que pensaran como él. En segundo lugar, me gustaría, fundamentalmente a Frank Ribot y al profesor Yunus, hacerles la siguiente pregunta. ¿Cómo puede una empresa de iniciativa social, una empresa social de estas características, que pueda trabajar con los más pobres, que realmente para poder avanzar en el objetivo de los objetivos del milenio, de acabar con la pobreza extrema, por lo tanto, trabajar con estas personas que sufren la pobreza extrema en países que tienen enormes dificultades también de desarrollo? Hay un principio en el que se dice que no puede haber un éxito empresarial o una empresa exitosa en un contexto fallido. Digamos, ¿cómo supera una empresa de iniciativa social los grandes déficits de seguridad jurídica, de seguridad y estabilidad, de carencias de infraestructura, de déficits y fallos en el sistema de mercado? ¿Cómo veis esto?
To answer to your question, it's you can imagine how the description you just made was true in Bangladesh, especially for people like us. But first of all, it's a question of conviction and desire to do something. And after that, and that was linked to what I just explained in terms of return. For a company like us, we have to reinvent everything. We have to reinvent the route to market. And that's the way we discover the microcredit and the Grameen ladies. Because the Grameen ladies are the people in charge of distributing the product door to door. So we have to plug ourselves in this system. But for example, because it's the big issues like regulation, whatever, we deal with, we find a way to deal with. The most difficult issues are the small one, the smallest one. The Grameen ladies, and I'm sure Professor Mohamed Yunus will confirm, were used to distribute, not credit card, but phone, small card to phone. It's not very heavy. Now for the same amount of money, they have to carry a bag with 10 kilos, 15 kilos. And at the beginning, we made a mistake because we think the remuneration will be the same for telephone card and pack of yogurt. No, because the effort was stronger, much more heavier to carry. So we have to pay more. So we have to transform from the beginning the business model we have. Second example, Bangladesh is very often underwater. What are you going to do with a plastic cup? How do you deal with this? Because you have nobody every morning coming and taking your ordure, your garbage. No, you have to take care of that, or otherwise you will pollute. So we have to find a new packaging based on, let's say, biodegradable. Thanks for your English. Biodegradable. Now, as a company, that forces us to invent everything. But we use all this experience now all over the world. For example, how to use a biomass to create electricity. So we have to reinvent totally our model, but honestly, the legal issue, how to protect your brand or whatever, and rules are existing. So it's just a question to respect the rules, but the main difficulties was more on the business model. For example, Professor Yunus said the price was, at the beginning, that was 8 taka, if I remember well, or 5 taka. But 70% of the cost is milk. So when the price of milk is growing up, the equation was very difficult. We want to pay, because in the same time, we want to create value for the small farmer. And the small farmer in Bangladesh is a guy with 1 cow, not 2, 1. How the big Danone will not destroy all this, let's say, network of small farmers because we need more milk. So we have also to organize a milk collection. We have also to organize how to improve the quality of the milk. Let's literally cows by cows. And we can't transfer to the consumer if the price of milk is going up. But we can't ask more money than 5, 6, 7 taka. And that's the reason why in the movie you see that we launch an ambient product just to reduce the cost of distribution. So at the end, the conclusion is social business or business, they are respecting exactly the same rules. You need the same, it's not because the product is cheap that you will sell a lot. You need the same marketing rules. You need the same adaptation. You need to respect the taste. You need to respect the quality, everything. So the equation is more difficult because you want to reach a very affordable product, which push and force you to reinvent your model. But now if I switch from Bangladesh to Africa, do you think that the classic model of Danone will work in the sub-Saharan Africa? No. But because of Bangladesh, that help us to reinvent the model, and because of our mission, we will look at this continent differently than if we are just selling product in Spain or in France or whatever. That's what I mean by the difficulties are there, we have to go over, but the return is we transform our model, we transform our mindset, and we create much more sense for the people working in the company.
Let me add to it. Once you have your goal set, your objective set, you are committed to it, you are attached to it, then gradually you start solving problems. You don't solve all your problems in day one, but you keep on improving. It's a continuous process of innovations and a continuous process of creative interventions so that you can move step by step. When we created Grameen Danone or any such company, the first model is almost like the Wright brothers plane. It is a kind of a sloppy, funny-looking thing which flies. But once you got to that level, you have achieved something, that you have overcome the power of gravity. You moved away. First, in social business, what you are doing, you overcome the power of profit. You dismiss the profit for yourself, personal gain. But the company makes profit, profit stays with the company. So once you have done that, then you improve that model. How to go from that level to the next level, and the next level, how do you make it wider, bigger, longer distance, and so on and so forth. So this is what keeps happening. You don't rest at one level that, okay, we found everything. We have not found everything, but we found the basic factor. Then reaching poor also comes with the objective itself. What is your objective? When we are doing with Adidas, when Adidas CEO, Dr. Heiner asked me, how do you proceed? I said, why didn't you start with the mission statement for your company? He said, what kind of mission statement can it be? I said, well, why don't you start by saying, in our company, nobody in the world should go without shoes. As a shoe company, it's our responsibility to make shoes affordable even to the poorest person. So that is the mission. Once you have set that mission, everything follows from that. You are looking for barefoot people who never went to the shoe store, never bought a shoe. Now you are trying to build a shoe which will be affordable to them so that they feel comfortable to them. So you have defined yourself, your company objective, how to do that. And he asked me, how cheap should it be in order to be affordable to the poorest person? And I instantly said, maybe under €1. He was totally shocked. He said, you mean Adidas shoes under €1? I said, yes. If you want to sell it to the poorest people, that's where we have to go. He said, that is a big task. I said, Adidas is a big company. Why should you look for a small task? Yeah, and they did it. They worked for 2 years. They were a very dedicated group of engineers, designers, marketing people, worked for 2 years continuously, moving back and forth to Bangladesh, arguing with us and coming back, designing, bringing back again designs and testing it. And last year, at the end of last year, they test marketed those shoes. And everybody loved it. But women didn't love it. They were again surprised. What happened to these women? They don't like us. I said, what did they say? They said, this is unisex shoes. Men and women all wear the same shoes. And this is only one color, which is a gray color. Who wants a gray color shoe for a woman? I said, you may be shoe company, but you don't understand women. They said they want green color, yellow color, red color, beautiful colors. And for them, not for the men. So now I just met last week the CEO, Mr. Dashley of Adidas. He said, we have now learned a big lesson. We have made beautiful shoes for women in all colors. They will love it. This will be 2 different kinds of shoes, one for men and one for women. They worked very hard on it. They are very proud of it. Now next month, in December, they are bringing 50,000 pairs of shoes to see how it goes. So you learn as you go.
Tenemos ya preguntas de los delegados. Esta pregunta es para Alberto López. Nos llega una pregunta que dice lo siguiente. ¿Cuáles son los requisitos mínimos para acceder a un microcrédito de microbank? Y nos dicen, ¿un inmigrante sin cobertura alguna tendría acceso a un crédito?
Los microcréditos de Microbank se conceden en base a 2 pilares complementarios. Uno es la confianza en la persona y otro es la coherencia y la viabilidad del proyecto. Siempre y cuando la persona acredite las suficientes competencias como para poder desarrollar el proyecto y el proyecto se muestre lo suficientemente coherente, lo suficientemente viable como para poder generar capacidad para repagar el crédito, aquella persona será un potencial cliente de Microbank. Es necesario también que esté en una situación que le permita establecerse legalmente como un trabajador en España, con lo cual pues va a poder iniciar el ejercicio de este negocio de manera sostenible.
Muchas gracias. Voy a hacer ahora 2 preguntas al profesor Yunus. Profesor, el Grameen Bank tiene una serie de preregistros en los que se establecen requisitos para que tienen que tener sus clientes. Nos preguntan exactamente cuáles son estos requisitos o requisitos previos para las compañías que quieran hacer un negocio social con el Grameen Bank. Bueno, la otra pregunta, que le he dicho que le iba a hacer 2, nos dicen también si tiene algún ejemplo de negocios sociales en la India o en el Medio Oriente de los que nos pueda informar.
first of all, it's not the Grameen Bank who does the collaboration with other companies. There are many Grameen companies we have now. We keep the Grameen Bank out of these joint ventures. We have Grameen Healthcare, we have Yunus Center, we have Grameen Telecom, and many other companies. Depending on what is the nature of this company, we become a partner. And our partnership is very simple. Our partnership will, if you want to partner with us, any company, we said our investment will be to the maximum of $1,000. We will not invest more than that. You pay the rest of the money for the company. Only for that $1,000, you can use our name, Grameen, into it. Because our company bears the name Grameen, you can use our collaboration. So it's not the money part that we give. It is our participation in designing process, in really making it true to the people, poor people. That's what we do. And many people keep coming. And we had last week Social Business Summit in Vienna. At least 10 new companies came to us to work with, build up huge, big attempt in different parts of the world. Like companies like Renault, the car company, Renault Nissan, which is a joint company. It's one bought the other company. It's an automobile company, but would like to do social business with us. We are trying to build them, try to make them go into manufacturing of battery, renewable energy, and planet-friendly battery, so that we don't use the one which is not very friendly battery today, battery industry. So, and then bring renewable energy in the villages. So there are a series of those companies that we have been working with and see how they work. So the precondition is you have to make sure that it solves the problem the way we feel it. We design together the objective, we design together the business model, and we try to build it up one by one. Another precondition is, if on anyone that we have a disagreement with you and you still want to insist because you are the majority shareholder, we are only $1,000 shareholder, if you want to insist, and we can step out of that company, we withdraw the name Grameen from you, you go ahead, you do it, but we have nothing to do with it. That's a clause written into our agreement, that we can walk out of the company anytime we want, and as we walk out, we bring back the company name with us, the Grameen name with us. So they understand it very well, very clear. We almost have veto power in the decision making, and they respect that we do that. So this is on the precondition side. On the other one, as with examples, yes, India has been taking enormous interest in it. India has created 2 social business funds already. They have created several social businesses already. One is related to Microcredit. It's a Grameen Capital, which provides funding for the Microcredit programs to run it as a social business. But there are many others. They are in the either they have already launched it, they are in the process of launching it. But the many big companies are very interested, and we are working together to find out exactly what fits into their core competence and our interest of solving the problems. Middle East, I have no idea, but one Grameen Jamil fund that they have in Saudi Arabia, that's a social business that is in action for some years now. But I hope many more initiatives will come out. We see a lot of interest now coming into that picture. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Ahora voy a agrupar 3 preguntas para Fran Ribot. Bueno, la primera es ¿por qué cree que muchas escuelas de negocios están tan lejos de estas ideas de emprendimiento social? Y la segunda sería ¿qué mensaje podría dar a estudiantes, a jóvenes, sobre las mejores vías para poder luego trabajar, mejores vías, entiendo, de estudio, de acceso a carreras, para luego poder trabajar en negocios de emprendimiento social? Y una tercera pregunta es la que nos formulan diciéndonos qué piensa usted, qué tipo realmente de motivación se le pueden dar a aquellas empresas que solamente piensan en un número mayor en su cartera de clientes, en un número mayor de beneficios y están totalmente ciegas y alejadas frente a la asunción de alguno de los objetivos que tienen las empresas sociales. Son fáciles.
Sorry. The different business school, I'm not sure they are so far from social business, and it's a personal experience we have with Danone, and again, Mohamed Yunus. In our world is a question of network, so when you have a right network, don't change. And we decide to create and to help a school in France called HEC, with what we call, I don't know how to say that in English, a share of social business. And the president is there. It's Mohamed Yunus. Why did we do that? And again, I think companies can really impact business school to change a little bit. And honestly, I think it's moving. It's moving under the pressure of the student, because the young generation, they are more aware of what happened in the world and what they want to do. And I think the mentality, the mindset is really moving in the student community. And they will push to have something else to learn than just marketing, finance, and the other. I'm saying that because every time I spoke to in different university, I have no more question about Danone and the balance sheet and whatever. I just have question about Mohamed Yunus, Grameen Danone, Danone communities, blah, 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 which is something we have to be careful. Because you will not drive the world just with social aspiration. And I come back on my point. It's a question of balance between, when I'm saying double project, social and economic, the most important word is the smallest one. And it's not social and human. And it's not also economics and finance. It's social and economics. So I think we have also to be careful not to push all the young generation in a very single-minded direction which could be just, I will save the world. No, they need also to learn the other part, the classic one. The best way to, the second question about how to work in a social business, if you really understand what social business is, perhaps you can develop your entrepreneurial spirit and you start a social business more than to work within a social business. For me, social business is very linked to your entrepreneurship. I don't think you have to go to work for a social business. I think it's much more important for social business that you find the right idea and the right energy to create your own social business, which could be also an answer about the crisis we have right now all across Europe. Saying that you can also work in companies like Danone or Adidas or Crédit Agricole. Don't be totally negative about classic multinational or classic businesses or companies. They are going to change also, and they are already changing. And even in the finance, and I can tell you, the funny thing, today I'm speaking with you. Yesterday morning I have a roadshow with the financial community. I got more and more questions about the social impact of our business or our environmental impact. So you can also learn social business and economics and work in a classic bank or in a classic companies. I'm sure you were working in a classic bank before taking care of Microbank in Spain, which is another way to promote and to develop a new vision for the future. Motivation, you have to understand what a company is. As I told you, a company belongs to the shareholder. Could be family shareholder, could be a shareholder you don't know, but they invest in your company because they need a return. How to convince them to do differently? First of all, step by step. You will not switch from one world to another. Second, you have to continue to deliver what they expect. And very important, you don't have to tell, I can't do anything because of the pressure of my shareholder. The job of a CEO like me is not to protect myself by saying it's not my fault, it's the shareholder pressure or the pension fund or whatever. My job is to convince, and I am free. If I find a way to convince them, I stay. If I feel I am doing very wrong because I can't convince, I can do something else. I have to keep my freedom to do my job, but I have to convince them. And honestly, the best way to convince them is to explain, and after that, to deliver the right balance between what they expect. And they have to understand that if we succeed, for me, being involved in this double project, social and economics, is a competitive advantage. And I am convinced that companies which does not integrate in their mission or in the way they work that kind of double project, they will die. They will not succeed. I'm convinced. Because, just one example to conclude, the bottleneck of every company, even in Western Europe, are the human resource. And if you look at the pyramid, you will see we need people from other countries to work in our countries. Perhaps not now, but within 4, 5, 10 years, that will be obliged. How to attract talent? Okay, you will attract talent by the money. But if you just attract talent by the money, they will like the butterfly. They will switch somewhere else. You will build nothing. So you need to attract talent with something else. And I think that everything we are talking about today is something which helps companies to attract the right talent for their business. So, we don't have to be pessimistic. It's the antibiotics are always there. We are just fighting against let's say, bacteria, but you have the virus and the bacteria, and bacteria is a stronger. Your body is full of bacteria anyway. So be optimist.
Thank you. Can I add a little bit? Can I just add something? Yes.
We
just
repeat before.
Yeah. I wanted to add on the academic side. Frank has mentioned about HSC creating a chair in social business. They were the leader. They took the first initiative. They also created something called Action Tank. We all know about think tank, but HSC created Action Tank. Bring all the business CEOs in Paris together every month to discuss how to create social business. And one after another, they are designing many very interesting designs of social businesses and coming out of them so that all companies can get involved with it. So this is a contribution from the HSC by holding this think tank, action tank, involving the company to do something. And then other universities like in business school, European Business School in Germany, they have created a chair on social business, again a program on social business, so that all the students passing through have to go through this program of social business. Glasgow Caledonian University has created a center for social business. In Georgia, they brought 35 public universities together only 2 months back with their vice-chancellor, the chief executive of all those universities, among the faculty members of the business schools of all these 35 universities, and student representatives in one place. They had 1,200 representatives discussing how to introduce social business in their curriculum, how to get involved with social business, how to bring the businesses to come and discuss with it. And then the Kyushu University in Japan, they created a research center on social business so that they can continually do that along with what they call Grameen Creative Lab, so that they come up with designs for social business. And I should introduce this also as a publication of a journal of social business being published from Glasgow as an academic journal, So many people are participating in the discussion, and they will be very happy if you want to participate, contribute your experience, your questions about social business into the journal. I'm sure the copies are available too. So lots of academic things coming mostly because of the student interest. Frank has just mentioned how the university responded because students wanted to have that facility. So that's a very good sign that the students coming forward to demand something which is missing in the university.
Muchísimas gracias, profesor. Muchísimas gracias a los panelistas. Tenemos muchísimas preguntas. Creo que cada delegado ha hecho una pregunta porque ha suscitado muchísimo interés y atención esta mesa, pero no es posible. El Congreso tiene que continuar. Así que les agradezco muchísimo sus intervenciones y antes de dar por finalizada esta mesa, este panel, Sam va a realizar algunos anuncios importantes.
Thank you very much. Thanks to our panel. Excellent. Couple of quick announcements. Thank you to the Journal of Social Business that did this special edition for the summit. Microfinance Focus did a special issue of their magazine for the summit. If you didn't get a copy this morning on your way in, you can get them at the City Foundation booth outside this door. A couple of other quick announcements. The associated sessions will start at 4 after a short break. There's one session that was misnumbered on the handout at 1600, 4 p.m. The session, Does Faith Matter? Exploring the role of faith-based microfinance institutions, will be at that time. It was incorrect in the sheet. Let me see. Let me go to this part. After the round of associated sessions at 1600, we'll have a ministerial plenary at 1715. It might be in this room. We might move it to the Sala de Cámara next door when you go out to the right. You'll find out when we get here. After the ministerial plenary will be a delegate reception. And so the reception will be out in the lobby area. Tomorrow morning, we'll start with a very different plenary where you are the panelists. And it's a session called a guided inquiry and discussion. Where do you want the field to be in 10 years or more? Not where do you predict it'll be, where do you want the field to be? And what can you or your institution do to get us there? There'll be microphones in the aisles and lots of thinking on paper and in small groups. So you'll want to make your way to that very different plenary led by Dave Ellis. After the delegate reception tonight, the buses will then depart back to the hotels in 2 different rounds of buses. Thank you to everyone who's been so attentive. Let me ask our chair if, let me call this session adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.